You will not believe this. I just bought an 11-unit property and I got $200,000 in a seller credit, and here's how I did it. Having a really good relationship with real estate agents is very crucial if you're looking to buy multifamily property. The larger you get, especially the more important it is. A specific agent who I've known for quite some time, who knows that I buy multifamily real estate, sent me a deal. Now this deal is in a town that's local to me. I'm very familiar with the deal. I've actually driven by the property many times, and so when he sent me the deal, I was able to go look it up, and I was very familiar with the area and the location already. Now I knew that this property needed a good amount of work because I had driven by it many times in the past. So when we walked the property, my partner actually walked it. I actually didn't even see this property. So my partner walked the property. He was very, very concerned with structural issues. There were some cosmetic issues, but really nothing that was crazy. But the roof had some problems. A couple walls were bowing. Some of the structure looked a little iffy. And so when we had our inspection, it confirmed that yes, there's bowing walls. Yes, the roof is going to need to be replaced. It's an older property that was built in 1890, which honestly isn't all that common for being up here in the Northeast, especially multifamily properties. A lot of the multifamily property around here is kind of chopped up, and it's like, okay, in Florida, in Georgia, Texas, there's a lot of like 100-unit properties, right? Well, up here in the Northeast, there's not that many of those. The composition of properties is more 8, 10, 15, 20-unit buildings that have like a mix of 1-bed studios, 2 beds, maybe a 3-bed, and it's kind of all chopped together in the building. And so this property was exactly that. And so, again, after the inspection, very high red flags, the wall bowing, the roof, and some other issues. And so we were so concerned, actually, that we told the seller that, listen, we need to get an architectural engineer out here to look at this to make sure this is not actively, caving, the walls aren't actively getting worse, the roof structure isn't getting worse. And so $1,200 later, paid for an architectural engineer to come out and write us a report that says, essentially, it doesn't look like it's getting any worse, it looks like it's been here, but it's definitely going to need to be addressed. Now, between the inspection and the architectural report, we then had to make a decision. Do we want to move forward with this property? Now, let's give some numbers and context to it. We're purchasing this property for $1.2 million, which is actually a pretty good price for the apartment building in this town. Most of them in the town are 130, 140 a unit. And so for $1.2 million, it's actually not that bad, right? It's around $100,000 a unit. And so we knew we had a lot of equity in it at that price, but we didn't know it was going to need as much work as we did. So made a few calls to some contractors and just tried to ballpark pricing, right? Like, I don't know how to fix a wall. I know how much roofs are vaguely, right? But I have no idea how to fix bowing walls, right? And so this is why it's crucial to have players in your team, friends, people you know who can help you with this. So we called 4 or 5 contractors who we know. We got basically, hey man, it could cost 10 grand, it could cost 200 grand, it could cost 150 grand, right? A bunch of ballpark ideas. We did some research on YouTube and Google, and essentially we came to a number at, $150,000 to rehab the roof, the bowing wall, rebuild it, address structural issues and a few other, plumbing and electrical issues we found in there. We told the seller we wanted a $200,000 seller credit. He probably thought we were insane, right? I mean, I honestly felt insane asking for $200,000 seller credit. Why do we ask for more than $150? Because we wanted a buffer zone, and also we knew that if we could get a $200,000 seller credit, that we only have to bring $100,000 to the deal now. Because we were going to get a loan for 75% of the LTV, we had to bring 25% of the $1.2 million down, right? So that is $900,000 that we'd have a loan for, so we have to bring $300,000 to the table. Well, the seller came back to us and said, absolutely not, we'll do $80,000, take it or leave it. Now, mind you, interest rates are going up, property values are kind of iffy, no one really knows what's happening in the market at this time, right? And so we sort of had a leg up, right? We have it under agreement for a pretty good price, the price they wanted actually. It didn't have to get listed. Our offer is pretty clean. You know, we have over 500 units combined, and so the seller knew that we are good buyers. So when we said no to 80,000, the seller said, okay, we'll do 100. We'll meet you halfway. We'll do 100,000. And so at this point, we talked about it, and we were like, you know what? We're just gonna ignore them for a week, right? So we flat out didn't reply to the agent. We didn't reply to the seller. We replied to nobody because we really wanted them to think that, okay, they're really not interested, right? They came back and agreed to the $200,000 seller credit. This is just absolutely insane. Like, absolutely insane. $200,000, we'll probably spend 150 of it, maybe a little less to fix it up, hopefully. The $200,000 is gonna go towards the down payment of this property. Now we only have to bring $100,000, maybe plus another 10 or 15 for closing costs, $115,000 to the table. Now, what's even better about that is that we're actually gonna raise private capital for the $110,000, $115,000 total because of how good this deal is now. We're gonna go in, do the rehab, and then the as-complete appraisal came back at $1.8 million. $1.8 million. We're buying it for $1 million, right? I mean, after let's say maybe $200,000 of work, which the seller just paid for us, we are gonna have $600,000 in equity. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. Guys, if you wanna learn how to do this, hit the subscribe button. I talk about all these strategies in other videos. You can learn a ton. I promise you'll learn stuff from each one of my videos. They're fun, engaging. Like, subscribe, follow for more information. And on that note, today's video is over.